Welcome back, Shalligators. Oh yeah, Kourtney Kardashian is a married woman. Her and Travis Barker evidently eloped at an Elvis wedding chapel in Vegas after the Grammys. And you know what? No, I didn't get dressed up to do this video. You want to have some ratty ass wedding? You get a ratty ass Shallon covering. I'm not putting in my goddamn clip-in extensions. I'm gonna wear my ex's construction hoodie. Okay? You want to have a nice wedding? You get nice Shallon. If not, you have made your choice. Live with it. We're going to break down what's actually going on, and you're going to have to look at grubby me this whole time. Sorry about it. Blame Kourtney. I'm just so over these two dumb assholes. I mean, I'm not. I'm like happy for them, but you know what I mean. Like I asked you guys on Instagram, what are your thoughts on this? And all of you said the same thing. Like, I'm happy for her, but also like, ugh. Right? Kourtney managed to take all of our goodwill that we had for her when she first started dating Travis, and like after a decade of bullshit and misery with Scott Disick, and we're like, yay! Like, she's found a good dude, and she really just seems so happy. Even if we don't understand this pairing, they seem, I don't know, like king and queen hot topic. I don't get it. And all of our good sugary feelings curdled into this horrendous sour acid so quickly, and they did it with their tongues. They did it with their tongues. So we're going to break down what's going on with this relationship, the pros and cons of rushing in to a very serious situation. Are there pros of rushing in? We're going to talk about it. And moreover, the pros and cons of showing off your relationship to the degree that these two do. Also, I'm just going to roast them. And I feel like we've been doing that a lot lately because celebrities, I feel like, are devolving into a level of ridiculousness that it's becoming harder and harder to wring any sort of life lesson out of them. They just, there's nothing left to do but to drag. I mean, we've reached apathy level X's hoodie. So fuck, we are in uncharted territory. But before we get started, I want to remind you, we have, I think now, just one open space for our Costa Rica trip happening this Memorial Day, May 29th to June 4th. Come. It's going to be so much fun. We are going to do volcano hikes, lagoon visits. I think a bioluminescent bay, you swim and it's like sparkly because of like the bioluminescent plankton. Yeah. Snorkeling, flamingos, kayaking, tons of time with me. I mean, I'm going to be with you like 24/7. You're going to be so sick of me. It's going to be fantastic. I would love to see you guys. The link is right down there in the bio. Also, come to Mexico with me to Isla Holbox at the end of August 19th, I believe. And if you would like to add your name to the Italy wait list, our trip is sold out. But like I said, I might fuck around and add another Italy trip. So let's see what we can get going there. And also, if you guys need any one-on-one help, always head to my website, shallonlester.com, and click submit a question. I can get back to you in just 24 hours if you need ASAP help. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging because sometimes the bullshit can't wait. And apparently, sometimes a wedding can't wait. Now so this is what's going on with Kravis. God. They got married after a few drinks at 1:30 in the morning in Vegas at an Elvis chapel. The Daily Mail has pictures of them clearly wearing what they wore to the Grammys. So the Daily Mail says they're going to have several other weddings with more fanfare. And yeah, they got married in front of an Elvis impersonator, which there's some discrepancy about whether it's legal. But I have heard that it is not actually quite as like, let's just fucking do it. It's not quite as spontaneous as you think it is, like as the movies make it seem. But they had a marriage license, like on hand. So they had perhaps been planning this to some degree, but they were still wasted. It was still 1:30 in the morning. They didn't let the venue take any pictures. They brought their own security and their own photographer. No word on if any of their family was there. I don't think so, because none of their family was at the Grammys. I don't think their family would have appreciated flying into Vegas at 1 in the goddamn morning. And so maybe their family was like, we'll see you at the regular wedding. Who knows? I can imagine Chris being furious. Or maybe she was like, do whatever the hell y'all want to do. Like, I will plan the big wedding, sign a prenup. Chris is about the legal thing. So do whatever you want. We're going to get that squared away. Who cares? I honestly don't care about this wedding. We care what we can learn from this. You know what? Can we just talk about Kourtney? Okay. So we've talked before about how Kourtney has like shape-shifted into Travis Barker. Like she's like queen of leather and like goth and like her hair's slicked back. First of all, Kourtney, that is not the look for you. She's not looking good lately. She's just not. And I'm not here to like body shame her, but Kourtney has positioned herself for so long as like this paragon of health and shamed everyone else in her orbit for like eating candy with like red dye number 5. Like she is that level of extreme that she's like vegan and bone broth and all of this. Okay, so you're so health conscious, but you wear leather, like you wear nothing but leather now, okay? And you won't ingest red dye number 5, but you're dating someone who has dye in his skin. He's put it under his skin, all over his skin. Like, do you not see any irony here? I don't know. Kourtney has just, to me, she's my most and my least favorite Kardashian. I love her attitude, like her bitch attitude. And like, she's inspired me a lot. And she has this confidence that's so unshakable that I really love. And we've talked about her a lot in videos on confidence. So I love her in that sense. But she's also like, she's such a fucking hypocrite for all of her health stuff. Do you know that she claims she only eats every other day? Do you know this? Yeah, like this is embarrassing. I subscribe to Poosh. I got the subscription like when I worked at Star and like they never canceled it. So I still have it because we would like do articles on like the stuff she was writing. And yeah, she would say that every other day, all she has is bone broth, which is like chicken stock. It's nothing. Every other day she eats. Now, if you're only eating half of your life, you should look like Giselle. I'm sorry. Like, first of all, you shouldn't be doing that. That seems incredibly unhealthy. But like, really, Kourtney? And also, like, if you're so like this queen of health where you won't eat any sugars and any of that, why is your son so unhealthy? And I'm not like body shaming Mason. I'm health shaming his mother. I'm health shaming Kourtney and Scott. Like, if you guys, and I'm looping Scott into this because this is not just all on Kourtney, like they're both parenting here, okay? If you guys are all focused on health, like, why do you have one extremely unhealthy child who's heading into adolescence, like obese? What is going on? You know, that just seems like cruel to me. You know, I see children who are overweight and I'm like, fuck you, parents. Cowboy, I realize, is maybe like a few pounds overweight. He's like getting back down there, but I was like in a hole. I promise we're going to get into other things, but I was in a hole for like 2 days. I'm like, I'm such a bad mother. And oh my God, he's a dog. You know, he's not going to be dating, nothing. And he's fine. The vet's like, he's fine. He's just filling out. But I couldn't imagine having an obese child and being like, whatever. While then blabbing all the time about how healthy I am and how, I don't do preservatives and additives and organic and GMOs. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So the hypocrisy annoys me. Why does this tie in? I'm going to try to bring it back around so this wasn't just a rant for nothing. But you know you love my rants. Because I have trouble believing Kourtney. Trust is not an isolated incident. When we lose trust in someone, and we can lose trust in celebrities, you know, when we lose trust in someone, it's this domino effect. And that's why trust is so paramount in our relationships and why we should be vigilant about when people breach our trust. And we should lose trust maybe in all categories. If someone lets us down in one area, should we keep trusting them in others? I say this because Kourtney is, I think, so kind of full of it in this health category based on what I'm seeing with my human eyeballs that I wonder if we can trust what we're seeing with Travis. This demonstrative, over the top relationship with him. The red carpets where they're matchy-matchy all the time. I think it's cute when couples coordinate, you know, for sure. Great, whatever. You know, if you have preppy couples, they coordinate great. But her style shift has just been so extreme. I've never seen her wear, I mean, yeah, she's worn leather, but you know what I mean, right? Let's put the style aside though. It's the Frenching. It's the wide open mouths. It's the practically finger fucking on the red carpets. It's gross. It's gross. And a lot of you guys said on the Instagram, because you know, I always like to ask you, a lot of you guys brought up her age, and I'm, as a trans chronological woman, you know, I am, what am I? What should I be? 23? Sure. Hey, it makes sense to me. I don't like to judge people based on their age, you know, like she's what, 43, something like that? That's really, like, that's nothing. One day you guys will be 43 and you probably won't feel like an ancient, decrepit, you know, crone living in a cave someplace. I hope not. But I hope you won't also feel 15. And Kourtney seems to be there. That's where her behavior seems to fall. And I don't know if she's like, ooh, I'm so in love and I feel reborn. You know, I feel very youthful, as love makes us feel, which is great, which is how we want to feel, and we should, and we're entitled to feel that way. Or if it's the opposite, or if she's like, if I act this way, then I will feel younger. Do you know what I mean? It's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, love isn't making her feel younger. She's hoping by acting and doing the things that will in turn propel her to feel younger. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she's hoping that one will begat the other, and instead maybe she has it backwards. Like, if she just tries hard enough, that will regenerate her youth for her. I think we can all agree it's just coming across at this point, after this many times of seeing them Frenching, it's just coming across as so fucking gross and desperate. So gross and desperate. I've dated a lot of people. You've dated a lot of people. I've been in love. You've been in love. I've never in my entire life even been tempted to pose like that. Never. Not one time. Not one time. And I've done a lot of red carpets. I have. I've done my fair share of, been on the red carpet, posed like her with people I've dated. Didn't cross my mind. Never in private, laying in bed, have I wanted to pose like that. Have you? So yeah, let's talk about, I know I said at the top of this video, the pros and cons of rushing in. There are no pros. I mean, very rarely do we encounter a topic that we cannot tease out truly a two-sided argument where it's like pretty much one-sided. This might be one of them. The only pro of rushing in is excitement. Okay, look, fine. Excitement is a decent pro, because if we sit here and pretend that adrenaline and excitement and that YOLO and I'm gonna live forever kind of feeling doesn't matter, well, we're doing ourselves an injustice, because we're basically gaslighting ourselves and telling ourselves that we don't feel something that we feel, and therefore we can't ever change or deal with or gain mastery over something we don't acknowledge, right? But let's go a little deeper. Excitement. We've talked before about unplanned pregnancies, right? Unplanned pregnancies, studies show, are caused by something psychologists dub the swept away phenomenon. I was just like swept away in the moment, and I didn't want to tell him to pull out or to get a condom or that I wasn't on the pill. We were just swept away. Sound familiar? Who among us hasn't experienced that to some degree or another? Whether it's in like a sexual moment or in a relationship overall, we're just swept away, right? We get swept away buying things, eating things, ordering things, booking tickets. Like, we love that feeling because we're sick and goddamn tired of doing the right thing all the time, right? Of thinking about the consequences, of being practical and sensible. It's boring. Passion versus responsibility is the endless human construct when you think about it. So when someone comes along, a situation comes along that offers us passion on such a large scale, I mean, how can we say no to that? When we find someone who we're really attracted to, lust kicks in, the part of our brain associated with decision making, it shuts off. Did you know that? It actually like literally shuts off, and we're just like, Hence why we even have Elvis Vegas wedding chapels that are open at 1:30 in the morning. If this wasn't a human-wide phenomenon, those things wouldn't exist. But hey, chemistry isn't destiny. Just because we feel something doesn't mean we have to be a slave to it. I mean, we probably have an impulse to just pee wherever we want. Do we? For the most part, no. For the most part. So what can we do? How can we avoid this? Okay, forewarned is forearmed. I know, and you know. Let's just all agree that we're very susceptible to this feeling, okay? Because again, if we tell ourselves, no, I wouldn't get swept away. Girl, you set yourself up for a big old fall. Let's just assume that we are actually not the exception to this, again, human-wide truth. Let's just assume that we're not this 1% of 1% of 1% whose brain will stay on in the face of like Alexander Skarsgård coming towards us with a wedding ring. Let's assume, no, I'm not going to tell him to pull out. No, I'm wasted at 1:30 a.m. with the man of my dreams. We're getting married. Okay? What can we do to insulate ourselves from this before that happens? Well, let's say, all right, I need a certain amount of excitement. I need a certain quotient of swept awayness in my life, of escapism, of luxury, of indulgence. Let's think about how this rushing into a relationship relates with flaunting your partner online. Because I mean, they go hand in hand, right? Who rushes into a relationship and doesn't tell every goddamn person they see about it? I mean, in this day and age, very few of us, right? Some of us really do keep things low key. I can't relate to you at all. I mean, look at what I do for a living. Like every thought I ever have, I have to share with, 500,000 people. Sorry. So if you're one of those people who manages to keep your life to yourself, I truly, truly cannot relate to you. And I have literally never been able to relate to people like this. And I'm so in awe of you. I really am. Do you have a diary? Is that what it is? Oh, it's just sanity and dignity. Okay, thank you. Okay, so here's something that happened recently. I met someone in St. Bart's. It took a very weird turn, and I cut him off in the most satisfying way. I talked about it in a podcast, actually. If you want to listen to my Girl on Top podcast, it's out everywhere podcasts are found. I think I talked about it 2 episodes ago. But day 3, I was like, he's so dreamy. And I was like, I want to post this person everywhere. I want to be in that kind of love. And I wasn't. I knew enough now, knowing what I know, having gone through what I've gone through, having talked to you guys, I'm wise enough now to be like, okay, we're not going to do that. But I was also self-aware enough to be like, that is what I want to do. I want to have a relationship and have a love and be swept away enough to be like, fuck it. I just want to post him a million times and tag him a bunch. I just want to do that. I want to feel those feelings. But life is progress. It's not perfection, right? Okay. So the old me, 5 years ago me, 10 years ago me, maybe would have done that. Fuck it. I don't even care. Narrator. 2 weeks later, she would care. So what I did instead is I pulled back and I thought, okay, what am I actually wanting right now? What am I actually wanting? What am I actually wanting? Okay, I want excitement. I want to be swept away. I want escapism. I want escapism. And I want to just feel like I'm reveling in something, right? I want indulgence, like we were just saying. What can I do to get that? Because when things went belly up, that's what I missed. Of course, I missed talking to him. I missed him as a person, sort of. But I missed the potential. If I'm being honest, keeping it 100, I missed the potential of having that giddy swept awayness. That Travis and Kourtney PDA posting everything. I'm just like a teenager. I don't even care. I missed that. That's what I was grieving the loss of. It wasn't the person. It was the possibilities. And that specific possibility, the showing it off, the getting lost in it, the swept away. So I thought to myself, how can I get that need met in a better way, in a way that doesn't involve another person? Okay, so I'm going to give you the least relatable example. I'm sorry, but this is what I did, but it's not relatable, but it's what I did. I booked a trip to Paris. I know. I'm like a human chain smoker song. I'm so sorry. But like I'm going to Florida one weekend. I have to be in New York the next week. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to take myself to Paris for like those 4 days. It's almost less of a hassle to go there. It's the same amount of hassle to go there than to go back to Montana. It's like the same amount of travel time because Montana is in the middle of nowhere. I understand that this is not feasible. I get that. But look, the reason I did that is because it's checking the boxes that we can actually check ourselves in other ways. Okay, because look, I like to travel. Travel is like my love language. It's my everything. It's my happy place. It's my whatever. But I thought, had that not been an option, you know what I would have done? I would have given myself that same escapism, diving on in, luxury, swept awayness somehow in my own life. How can you do that? How can you do that? Can you watch a James Charles or somebody, Huda's my boo, hi Mona, hi Moni, makeup tutorial and do a completely different makeup look? Because what you are really missing is getting outside of yourself, right? When we're flaunting that partner, when we're eloping, when we're going to Paris, we are stepping outside of our responsibilities and our sensibilities and who we are and the humdrum routine. And we're like, I am different. I'm a chain smoker song. So how can we do that? What is a shift you can make right now for free that is going to give you that feeling? Is it drawing yourself a bath? Is it getting a new comforter on your bed? Is it painting a wall a bold color? Is it doing your makeup different? Is it dip dyeing the ends of your hair? Is it getting long, tacky ass acrylic nails from Claire's, which are a great place to get them? What could it be that's just a little bit off center to make you feel just a little bit zingy and jazzy and infused and emboldened and enlivened? It doesn't actually maybe have to be a trip to Paris, a ring on your finger, a sleeve of tattoos, tongue fucking someone on the Grammy red carpet. You would be surprised at how a small shift, how actually an eyedropper full of something makes such a big difference. You might be thinking, well, Shallon, then why didn't you just do that? Because I'm like an emotional drug addict. I'm like chasing the dragon. Like those things kind of don't work for me anymore. I gotta chase that high. I gotta chase it. So it's not great. It's not great. But literally though, that's something I'm working on. Like my therapist was not happy when I said that. She's like, you're doing it again. You're running. I said, I am not running. I am going somewhere. She's like, I get that, but you've been on the go for months. And it would be great if instead of booking flights, you could just sit with your feelings for a minute. It would just be great if you could do that. And I said, but I have so many feelings. In every 24-hour period, I have every feeling a human being could possibly have. And it would be great if I just could not have all of those. And when I travel, I have less feelings because I'm focused. I'm focused on doing things, reading subway maps and looking at this architecture, and I'm not sitting here stewing all the time. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I use these videos as like therapy sessions with you guys, but sometimes, you know, I know sometimes you guys relate to what I'm going through and you guys go through it too, and we can all feel like less alone. So the pros and cons of flaunting your relationship. I think when we're doing everything we can in our lives to give ourselves that Paris feeling, that Vegas elopement feeling in our own lives, without a guy, without anyone else, when we're beautifying our surroundings, when we have those nice sheets on the bed, when we're keeping our house clean, when we're checking things off our to-do list and going for a walk and getting our steps in and meal prepping and everything is where it should be, right? When like really we have our shit together and then we want to post all those dudes, not all those dudes, maybe just the one dude at a time, then it's like, you know what? fucking go for it, girl. Fucking go for it. And that's why I think like all of us were kind of so on board with Kourtney at first, because it's like, you know what? You deserve this. You're raising your 3 kids. You're in shape. You're making your money. Why not? Like, why not? Whatever, man. But when you see like, I don't know, some trashy reality show person, like some Teen Mom alum or like Mama June, it's like, oh, another toothless, methed out boyfriend that you're flaunting all over the place. It's like, maybe get your own shit in order before you like try to fill the void with another man and another man, another one, right? But if you feel like your life is where it should be, and you got to be real with yourself, you have to be real with yourself, okay? Then you know what? Go for it. But hey, look back at your grid. How many faces are staring back at you? Is this an every 3 months kind of thing? That it's like 10 photos, 10 photos. Oop. 10 photo, 10 photo, 10 photo. Are you finding yourself a lot of times going back and deleting? Because look, listen, I think it's such clown shit to delete photos of someone. If you're going to post it, they got to live on that grid forever. I think it's okay to like untag them or like delete maybe like really gushy birthday tributes or something. Like I did that when Max and I broke up. I deleted like the gushy birthday things. But if it was like us at an event, like no, I left it up. We were together for years. Like it's silly to pretend it didn't happen. It's like annulling a marriage after 20 years. Like, come on. It happens. So stand in the light of it. There's no shame in dating someone, but there is shame in dating people for the wrong reasons. But shame doesn't have to be shameful. Shame can be gasoline that you put in your emotional tank and you let it fuel you to a better situation, to a better plane of existence for yourself, right? So if this is a state you chronically find yourself in, posting and then you fight and you break up and you delete, and oh my God, there's someone new and you're posting to make the old one jealous, and you're just in this manic loop, ask yourself, would you date this guy if you couldn't post him? Whoa. I remember when I was living in New York, and this was like years before I moved. Like a good 3 years before I moved and before I quit my job at Star. Well, lost my job at Star. My best friend from college came to visit and we were going to all these events and all these parties. She's like, why on earth do you go to all these things? I was like, I mean, you know, they're fun. They're like fun to post on Instagram. And she said something and it stuck in my mind. She's like, if you couldn't post about it, would you still go? And it was like this thunderbolt. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't. And I was like, holy shit, like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? And I have to check myself and ask myself that, I mean, even about the travel that I go on, like, would I be going to Paris if I couldn't post about it? And because sometimes I've gone on trips and it was like, I was kind of going to like flex on it because I was trying to make an ex jealous. Like, I don't use men to make an ex jealous, I use trips. Oh God, it's just all coming together. I'm no better than these teen mom people I'm posting. I'm just talking about I'm no better. I just use a different weapon. Okay, I'm sorry. See how much we learned together? But I validated my Paris trip because I'm like, no, if I couldn't post about it, I would 100% go. I really want to go. I have all these architecture tours booked and everything and like these food tours and I'm really excited. So yes. Okay. So I feel like that's progress. And in the past, like, no, that has not been the case. So ask yourself, if you couldn't date someone, if you couldn't post about someone, would this be as enticing? If Kourtney couldn't go on the red carpet, or if she had to be on a red carpet and pose like a normal person with Travis and not like, would this relationship be as enticing to her? If Scott Disick couldn't know about it, would it have the same amount of juice? I don't know, maybe yes, maybe no. But I think we always have to ask ourselves that. If this experience happened in a vacuum, how would we feel about it? And these are they're important questions to ask, and they're also unusual questions to ask because truly we're living in such a frontier. Social media has never been a thing. We have historically never had to ask ourselves this. Oh, if 200, 500, 500,000 people couldn't know about something I was doing, would I do it? That's never been a thing. So we're really in uncharted emotional territory here. And that's why it's especially important to check in with ourselves and say, how do I feel about this? What is the feeling I'm actually chasing under there when I'm rushing into these relationships? Is this person an emotional getaway car? I'm being swept away from what? From what? And if I stop, let's the unprotected or the unwanted pregnancy thing. We can all identify with that. Oh, I don't want to stop. Like, why? If we stop, then it ruins the magic. Does that imply that the magic only exists in this specific sexual instance right now? And if I ruin this magic, there really is no other magic. The lights are going to come on. He's going to put on his clothes. He's going to leave. And it's going to be back to texting you up, like a Snapchat of his truck or something. There is no more magic. Is that true? You know what I mean? If we really pull back and if we're really honest with ourselves, is that the case? If so, there actually isn't any magic at all, not even in the sexual situation. So we might as well say, hey, actually, you kind of need to pull out. I'm not on anything, because holy shit, we don't want to get ourselves in any deeper. Right? Same with rushing in. If we pump the brakes, actually, no, I kind of don't think we should move in together. I can't skip my classes. No, I really need to study for this presentation. Oh, I can't because it's going to ruin the magic. He's going to be mad. We need to ask ourselves, we need to go down that path. We need to look at that monster under the bed and say, what can't I face here? What am I afraid of confronting? This goes back to, this is shades of our saying about boundaries. The people who hate your boundaries are the ones who benefit from you having none at all. The people who hate you pumping your brakes benefit from you being out of control. Why? Because that means they're in control. The guy who doesn't want you to say pull out doesn't want to fucking pull out. Feels good to him. He doesn't give a shit. Well, what if you get pregnant? He doesn't give a shit. He's out. He's not going to do anything. It doesn't matter to him. Right? The guy who doesn't want you to say, no, we can't hang out. I have to study for this presentation. He doesn't want you to get that promotion because he wants to keep you small so that he's in control. See? He doesn't want you to study for those classes. He wants you to drop out so he has more control. Healthy people want you to be healthy. A healthy, well-paced relationship is coming from both parties. A healthy man wants the brakes pumped too. You know what? Yeah, I gotta do my laundry. I gotta walk the dog. I gotta see my parents. Let's catch up on Sunday. Great, babe. Sounds good. Let's put our tongues back in our mouth when we take this picture. We're respectable people. I really don't want my aunt and my sister to see this. Okay, perfect. It's not the case. Interesting. I want to know your thoughts on this. Do we think they're going to last? I actually do. I actually do think that they're going to last. They have a relationship built on a deep friendship, and studies overwhelmingly show that that is the number one predictor for a happy marriage. So I actually think they're going to last. Unfortunately, which means they're going to be tongues out for the rest of our lives. I honestly hope they don't have a baby. Y'all have enough kids. You have enough kids. What do you have, 3 each? That's enough. That's enough. You're fine. Get a guinea pig. Get 2. They're great in pairs. Name them Snickers and Twix. My best friend in college had guinea pigs. That was their names. Those are great guinea pig names. Just, like I said, we've got one more space for Costa Rica. Come with me. It's going to be so much fun. We've also got space in Mexico, and add your name to the wait list for Italy to be the first to know if we add a trip. I'm going to know probably by the end of the week, so stay tuned. I'll see you later, Shalligators.